Hi, I'm Dr. FeelRight, giving you common sense solutions to everyday problems. Today I will feature yet another recipe from the Dr. FeelRight Fat Loss Recipe Repertoire, the Super Chocolate Keto Brownie Cake. This is a decadent keto cake recipe that has a twist. Depending on one specific ingredient, the cake will have either a regular cake-like texture or brownie-like quality. Either version is chocolatey and decadent. So let's get to baking, shall we? The items you will need are as follows: almond flour, baking powder, no carb sweetener such as erythritol, butter or margarine, cocoa powder, 5 egg whites, 1/2 cup egg substitute or 2 whole eggs. Now let's pause for a moment and talk about erythritol. Now, most people do not know this, and many YouTube bakers do not address this, but the form of erythritol you use in your baking affects the outcome. For instance, if you want a brulee-type consistency to the top of your desserts or an added crunch, you will use the granulated form of erythritol. For smoother consistency, you will use the powdered erythritol. Now, for cake icing, the granules will form a crystalline kind of texture and it will become grainy, so you want to avoid that at all costs when you're making icing with erythritol. The granular formula is less expensive and it works out for things like iced tea and drinks. But if you use granular erythritol for this recipe, it will yield a slightly crisp, brownie-like outer crust. I sometimes prefer to have this outer layer, and on occasions I prefer this recipe to have a traditional cake-like mouthfeel. But whatever your preference, just be aware that the granular form makes a finer and a firmer outer layer, and the powdered makes a softer outer layer. Remember, the type of erythritol will affect the result and consistency of your baked items. Now let's get back to business. In one bowl, add 1 cup of erythritol, 1/4 cup butter or margarine, and 2 eggs, or the 1/2 cup of egg substitute. Blend together for 1 to 2 minutes until completely incorporated. In a second bowl, combine the almond flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Mix together thoroughly with a fork, and now you will add 1/3 of the dry mixture at a time to the wet mixture and blend with your blender until incorporated. Whip the egg whites with 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and if you don't have cream of tartar, use a 1/4 cup of baking powder along with a 1/4 teaspoon of vinegar. What this does is it facilitates the whipping of the egg whites. Without this, it will take forever. This makes the time shorter. Whip the whites until stiff peaks form, and what you'll do now is you will slowly stir the egg whites into the wet mixture, 1/3 of the egg whites at a time until the batter is uniform. Get yourself a cake pan and use the pan to trace a circle on parchment paper. Cut out the circle and place it into the greased pan. And if you don't have parchment paper, then just spray the pan with non-stick cooking spray and dust it with some sort of flour. Since the carb content is negligible, it doesn't matter which type of flour that you use. The flour is just simply acting as a non-sticking agent and it will not become a part of the cake. Now you will pour the batter evenly into the pan and then place the pan into an oven preheated to 350 degrees on the bottom rack. Bake the cake for 50 minutes or until a knife inserted into the cake comes out clean. Let the cake cool for an hour or more. After that time, you can either dust it with powdered erythritol or frost the cake with my 3-minute chocolate keto frosting. And there you have it, a super chocolatey keto cake with less than 2 grams of net carbohydrate per slice. I'm Dr. FeelRight, and please subscribe for more common sense ideas on health and well-being, as well as amazing keto recipes. Thanks for watching and have a great day.